All right. Well, hello, ladies and gents. There have been some questions about the chromosome mapping activity in the Chapter 15 study packet. I'm not going to collect this for any points, and honestly, some of the end of chapter questions cover this fairly well. So this is something where if you want to do it, go ahead and get some extra practice. But if you already feel pretty comfortable with um, how to sort of sort the position of chromosomes based on recombination frequency, then you're totally good. Again, there were a couple of problems in the chapter 15 end of chapter questions that sort of cover this idea. But if you want to get some additional practice, you could do this here. So this reads, the following data were collected from repeated matings of fruit flies. The data record the frequency to 0.1% of the recombinant characteristics for 7 genes located on the same side of the centromere on chromosome 3. So if we want to sort of model this out, we could say here is a chromosome, here's the centromere, sort of the narrow part, and they're saying there are all these genes on the same side of the centromere. So they would be linked and they tend to be inherited together. Now, crossing over will happen, and so the greater the rate of recombination, the farther apart these genes on the same side of the chromosome. So what do they give for reference here? It says the veinlet gene is located one mapping unit from the centromere and acts as a useful benchmark. So very close to the centromere, we have this particular veinlet gene. Now it says construct the scaled chromosome map for chromosome 3 using a scale of one mapping unit equaling 1 millimeter. The idea is if you flip over here, we'll say 1 millimeter is one mapping unit, and a mapping unit is a 1% rate of recombination. So what did they say? Veinlet gene was one mapping unit from the centromere. So if we go here, I chose this nice pink ruler. One, because it's flexible, and the other is that it has this sort of purple, like, I don't know, looks like an antibiotic you'd take as a kid. So wonderful things. Okay, so what we'll do is go 1 millimeter from the centromere. May have gone a little more than a millimeter there, but we'll just label that veinlet. So that's the veinlet gene. All right, well then we can look in other places here. The veinlet gene is 74.6 map units from the cardinal I gene. Now again, a map unit is 1% recombination rate. In this case, it's 1 millimeter. So, or 74 millimeters. So we'd say about 75 millimeters from the veinlet gene. So that's about 7.5 centimeters. So what do we say that was? Cardinal I's. Okay, so you start to see how you can sort of use this information. The veinlet gene is 26.4 map units from hairy body. Okay, so veinlet is about 26.5 from hairy body. Now, if we look at the hairy body gene, it's 35.5 from striped body. So if we tried to go 35.5 centimeters from that, that puts you down in the centromere. So what we know is that hairy body and what was that? Hairy body and striped body, since they're 35.5 map units apart, or 35.5 millimeters apart, and they're on the same side of the centromere, the direction for striped body has to go away from the centromere. So again, this is going to be more detailed than anything that you'd be asked to do on the AP exam. I just had this as some extra practice. Again, I feel like your experience with questions 1 through 9 and 12 in your end of chapter questions for chapter 15 will suffice. If you want to get some extra practice, you can. What I'll do in a moment is post the key to this. So you can keep working on this. if you like, and then I'll put a key up if you want to sort of see how it should turn out. So we'll take a dramatic pause. Here, spoiler alert, here's your key. So you can look and see what you came up with in terms of the relative positions or the order of these genes on the same side of chromosome 3. All right, that is that. If you have any questions over this, let me know. But again, don't stress over this. Focus more on the stuff with the end of chapter questions and looking at recombination rates and the order of genes on a chromosome. All right, thank you much. Have a good day.